is multiple regression analysis using R software, and I'm going to show you how to generate a table in APA format and easily interpret it as well. So for this, first thing I'll do is I'm going to import the data set. So I click on import data set. Now I already have an SPSS file where I have the data, so it's easier for me. I just go to downloads and import the data. So the data set is called data, and I'm just importing it now. Once that is imported, the next thing I need to do is I need to go to I need to first include the variables that I'm interested in. So the first variable I'm interested in is depression. This is a data set on cancer patients. So I'm going to look at the factors that impact their depression level. So depression is a dependent variable. So I type depression, then I type data, which is the name of the data file, and then I extract the depression values. So total depression 2, I just extract that. So if I go to the environment, I can see depression has been extracted. The next thing is to now extract the independent variables. So the other independent variables that I'm interested in is age. So age, sorry, data, then age there. So age is extracted. The next thing I'm interested in is uh, diagnosis. So diagnosis basically is the time since the person has been diagnosed with cancer. Right? That's the variable here. So I type data, then I type diagnosis. Yeah, that's the one. Hit enter. So time since diagnosis is also here now. The other variables I might be interested in is maybe education, right? So education, data, then extract, education. Then maybe I'm interested in income. So data and then income, multifamily. So I'm done with all the variables that I need for my study, for my multiple regression analysis. The next thing I need to do is to load a package. So go to packages and install, click on install and type something called APA tables. Now I've already installed this package, so I'm not going to be installing it again. I'm just going to load it from the packages over here. So just click on it and it's loaded. Now once the package is loaded, as you can see, I will then first create a model, like the regression model. Then we'll generate the table out of this. So for generating the model, I'll name the model first. I'll call it regression, and then I'll create the model, which is LM, and then I'll include the formula. So the formula is depression, because depression is the dependent variable, and then I'm going to include the independent variables after the symbol. I'm going to include age, then I'm going to include diagnosis, then I'm going to include education, then I'm going to include income. Yeah, so age, diagnosis, education, income. I think that's it. I've included all the variables. And the next thing I need to do is just hit enter. So once I hit enter on the top right environment, you can see that the regression model has been created over here. So now I need to load the APA tables. Here I've already loaded it. So if you haven't loaded it, please do load it. So once it's loaded, I need to come back here to the console and then type APA uh, regression. So this is apa.reg.table. That's the table generator. So I just click on that. Then I need to mention the model, which is the bracket, which is the regression. This is the model. Then the next thing is the file name. So the file name will be in quotes, in quotations, and make sure you add a doc at the end, doc, so that it's a Word document. So I'll call it regression table. Okay. Regression, yeah, I'll just call it regression table 1 maybe for now. And just click doc. That's the name of the file that's going to be saved. Right? Then comma, and then it's going to be table number, hit 1, and that's it. You just have to hit enter, and as you can see, the table has been generated in the console. You can see it. Now the magic is when you go to files, and when you click that document, you will get this table. And this table basically explains the regression results of the regression analysis. Now, I've also added interpretation in another file. So, as you can see, table 1 shows the results of the multiple regression analysis. Based on the results, it can be stated that the overall model explains 57.1% of the variance in the dependent variable of depression. Age and time since diagnosis have turned out to be significant. So, you can see that 57.1% of the variance is explained. How? Because R square is 0.571, and age and time since diagnosis have turned out to be significant because you can see the significance values here. The beta value indicates that when the age of the respondent goes up by 1 unit, the depression score decreases by 0.64 units. Why? Because it's a negative symbol here. And similarly, when the time since diagnosis variable goes up by 1 unit, the depression score of the respondent goes down by minus 4.9 or 0.49 units. Uh, Now, basically, what this means is that as the respondent grows older, their depression score decreases, and as the time since diagnosis increases, the depression score also decreases. That's what it means. And you can also look at the SR square and make another interpretation, which I've done here. The age of the respondent contributes to 36% of the variance on the dependent variable, and time since diagnosis contributes around 8% of the variance in the dependent variable. So this is good enough interpretation for multiple regression analysis, and this is in EPA format. It's publication ready. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do like and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. So that's it, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.